Hello, I'm Betsy Bauer, an artist living in Santa Fe, New Mexico for the past 30 years. Inspired by the drama of the primal rock landscape of the Southwest and my Zen Buddhist practice, I craft my wrapped rock sculptures and jewelry pendants in my Santa Fe studio. Using stones I collect from ancient dry riverbeds in New Mexico and from places I visit on my travels. I handpick rocks with unique shapes and variations in color and texture and transport them back to my studio. Here, I wrap each specimen in natural cane soaked in water for flexibility. I fuse ancient Japanese basketry techniques and navel knots with contemporary design elements from the Southwest, including turquoise beads and semi-precious stones. My inspiration began when I was a young girl. My grandmother studied Ikebana in New York City and regularly traveled to Japan. My most prized gift from her are 2 Suiseki stones. Suiseki is the Japanese art of stone appreciation, which values aspects like stability, longevity, and immortality. These stones are in their natural state and have a wooden base made specifically for each rock. The purpose is to have a piece of nature in your home, reminiscent of a mountain and used for contemplation. My wrapped rocks have similar qualities. Artists that inspire me include Constantin Brancusi and Isamu Noguchi, who worked as Brancusi's assistant in Paris. Shown here is Atelier Brancusi in Paris, and Noguchi with his sculpture Energy Void, made of Swedish granite in 1971 in his studio in Japan. I also have always loved George O'Keeffe's paintings of New Mexico. Here, George O'Keeffe holds her favorite stone in her rock collection in 1966 near her home in Abiquiu, New Mexico, in a photo by John Loengard that appeared in Life magazine. The New Mexico landscape is inspiring and really under my skin. There are beautiful warm colors in the landscape here. One of my favorite places is Ghost Ranch, where George O'Keeffe lived and painted. After being a painter most of my life, in 2019 I saw a pamphlet from fiber artist Donna Sakamoto Crispin with a single basket knot. I did that knot over and over on rocks. I began to draw designs inspired by the landscape of New Mexico and created a collection of wrapped rocks. The ancient stones I collect and wrap have their own energies and stories, which bring an organic life force to the pieces. The cane I use to wrap the rocks has to be soaked and has unique qualities which cause it to shrink and hug the rocks after the cane is dry. During the process of wrapping the rocks, I must be very centered and in an almost meditative state. Some days I quietly fall into that meditative state wrapping rocks. Other days I am full of energy and bounce between drawing, designing new styles, and experimenting with new ideas. Rocks have forever been a part of human life. In China at the beginning of the 9th century CE, a deep interest in learning from the wisdom of rocks was called petrophilia, admiration, love of rocks. Later on, the Taoist sages revered rocks as the bones of the earth. The fact that rocks are infinitely older than we are is humbling and opens up a soulful, creative energy for me to work with from the start. Some nights I go to sleep just seeing different rock shapes and forms and wake up excited to begin a day in the studio with the rocks. Since teaching myself to wrap the rocks, my work has been in American Craft Council articles and exhibits and museum shops across the country, including the George O'Keeffe Museum shop here in Santa Fe, the Museum of Arts and Design store in New York City, shown on the left, and the Museum of Contemporary Art in San Diego, La Jolla. My work includes some exciting commissions. like this large collection of 135 rocks. I also love the challenge of wrapping rocks collectors have that are special to them, like the two on the right, where the collector gave me the rocks and driftwood she found on the beach in Maine. I recently began to make jewelry so people could wear the miniature wrapped rocks. The beauty of the rock itself is integral to the design. And just from drilling small holes in rocks, I have developed a great respect for all the stone workers that work with stone on a large scale. In my pendants, I incorporate the cane wrapping and semi-precious stones, beads, and glass. These smaller works speak to me of the connection of nature and the human hand. Here I integrate vintage turquoise beads as a special reminder of the brilliant Santa Fe skies. Through painting, I have a deep appreciation for the color and light of the New Mexico landscape. I designed this Santa Fe collection, which includes the turquoise bead rock, the stick rock made with a local juniper stick, and the Zia rock inspired by the Zia Pueblo sun sign that appears on the New Mexico flag. The natural organic shape, sizes, and textures of the rocks never cease to amaze and inspire me. Each rock has its own character, energy, and story. They seem to hold a deep, meaningful energy that connects people together and with nature. Working with rocks every day and living in New Mexico is a true blessing. I hope that my collections inspire great joy and a love of art, stones, and the earth.